Welcome to the channel, Resin and Roche. I'm here to transform simple ideas into stunning resin creations. Let's dive right in. So today I decided to play with a bloom, but a reverse bloom. So let's try doing dark petals with a white background. Here I'm pouring in my resin. It's 1:1. I've left it for about 20-25 minutes. Now remember, I live in a very warm climate. I used this spatula to mix up the resin and it left some dark speckles in there. So I'm going to just use a pair of tweezers to pick out those little dark bits of dried up resin that contaminated my batch. Hee hee. Okay, so as I'm doing that, I'm thinking about what colors I'm going to use or what I'm going to do. So I thought I would pipe some black petals in and then use a little bit of a silver mica just as an accent color, and then back it with white so that we sort of have a monochromatic thing going on in this coaster. Now I've got to work quite quickly here because I live in a very warm climate and my resin is heating up very, very quickly, and it's starting to get quite sticky now. And fingers crossed, this experiment works. I'm trying to pop bubbles here, but unfortunately my resin is starting to set up and the bubbles are not coming up. So we might have to deal with some bubbles being in the piece. But I really don't mind because what I'm after is doing the technique and seeing if that is going to work. I'm really all about this technique and this experiment. And if it works very well, I've learned from it and the next one will be better. So just pouring in my extra for the two other colors. And as you can see, it's having this thread-like consistency, meaning I am way past 35 degrees here. I'm going in closer to the 40 centigrade territory. And yeah, quietly starting to panic here, but still excited for the outcome. I'm going to use, as I said, the black pigment to mix this. And for some strange reason, I don't know, my camera was on a zoom. So I've got this tiny little window to show you what's going on. And please excuse me if I go out of frame like here. I just didn't realize my camera was on zoom. So here's a tiny bit of the black pigment, just mixing it in there. I mean, just a drop really. Make sure you stir your pigment in very, very well so that you don't have streaks or unmixed pigment which might not cure on you. So that's mixed. I am trying to clean up my stick here, and it's just really gloopy. And this is the reason why I have I have a difficult time creating the Larimar effect. And that's because it's so warm where I live that, the resin just gets too thick and I don't achieve the desired result. The key thing in creating a Larimar is a very runny resin, not viscous at all. And maybe this is why I get great blooms, because the warm climate. So it's never perfect. I'll stick to getting my blooms right and my Larimars wrong for now, until I find a very, very runny resin. Here's that silver mica, and as you can see how thick this resin has gotten, because my son needed something from mummy, and I had to go rushing to his aid. And yeah, again, I've left the resin for too long. I normally work in the night time, but for some reason I was too busy editing last night that I had to do this on the go in the daytime. So I've got my piping bags with the black and the silver mica, and now we're going to start. I really hope I can get this thick resin out, and I'm hoping for a bloom, really. And we shall see. Just going to snip the edge off, moving everything to the center, trying to. I'm sorry it's a bit wonky. Today I wasn't using my laptop as the monitor to the camera, and so I can't really see what my camera is filming, what my phone is filming. Here I'm squeezing so hard because this resin has gotten so thick. But I'm managing still to get that swirl pattern in. Got little cuts in the swirl marks because it's so sticky. Now with the silver, I'm going to try to get in between the black swirl. If not, on top of it is fine too. As you can see, I'm really straining here. That resin just wants to set on me and cure on me, and I'm fighting. Oops! Got the lighter instead of the scissors. Really fumbling and scrambling for time. Val is on a major panic. Swirly whirly time. You see how hard I'm squeezing. It's just not coming out very well. He wants to flash cure on me, but just have to laugh. Why don't you comment below and tell me what was your worst resin disaster? I would love to hear it. I would love to share all our resin disasters. So, yeah, I'm really, really curious. Well, as you know, I'm Valerie, and a lot of things have happened to me. But the worst ones where I think I have two videos where my phone has actually fallen from its holder above into my wet resin. And yeah, it was a nightmare getting the phone cleaned up on those two occasions. So here I am with a dotting tool and just doing our standard pulling towards the center. See how thick it is? Oh, and getting the dotting tool back up. It's a bit difficult, so I have to make sure I am wiping this dotting tool in between pulls. Ooh, I like that pattern right now. Pretty cool. And then out, in. Sorry, in, out. I am mesmerized by the pattern I've created. Sorry about that. And also, it's so sticky that I can't get the sharp points pulling out. And this is where I realized maybe I should have left it as it was. So I'm getting all these swirls in the end rather than sharper points. Do you ever doubt yourself as a crafter or an artist? We are our own worst critics. But just go with it. I still believe in Bob Ross's happy accidents. So there are no mistakes here, just happy accidents. Now this has gotten so thick now that I'm not touching it. I'm just going to leave it there. Do a little torching to get rid of any surface bubbles. I know that there are bubbles at on the clear layer in the channels where the coaster, that on the left there. But I'm just leaving that. And then here, oh, I realized that the camera was zoomed very close. And I'm just going to try to use all my extras into this cabochon mold. And hopefully they come out okay if I ever do demold them. They probably won't. The thing with resin being so thick that it doesn't debubble as well. Self-leveling takes longer. thus trapping some bubbles within the resin. I also cut a bigger hole just to try and squeeze that out. And I'm just going to continue pouring in all my extras in here, and then I will let this cure for a few hours and see you on the next part. We are back. It's been about 4 hours, and the coaster is ready for its next coat. But I did mix up a little bit more resin so that I can do another experiment on this tiny little thing. I want to know if the reverse bloom would work with not very warm resin, warm but not warm enough. I just had a bit too much resin really. And this time I'm going to use black with a purple mica. So here, because the resin isn't as sticky, I can play around with it and get the bubbles off, get them rising to the top and popping them. And what I'm going to do here is put you on a fast forward. I keep saying fast forward. That betrays my age. Can we do time lapse, please, editor? By editor, I'm talking to myself, really. Let's do that. for the demold. So as you see, I have just backed it with plain white resin. Let's see what comes out. Did it work? Don't know. This is always the exciting part, isn't it? With excitement with a few nerves. Let's put that down. And then let's demold this little one. Because it's smaller, it's still a bit bendy. Just the white bit. As you can see, it's nighttime now. And took quite a few steps to get the project done. Waiting for different layers to cure. So this one's a bit bendy, but that's okay. All right. Ta-da! It worked, actually. You can see that the silver mica and the black bloomed a bit, but it could have bloomed more if I didn't wait for that clear layer to be too sticky. So that means the layer the resin had already started moving before. Now here is the disaster, because the coaster mold is so tiny, and I poured with these plastic cups. The lines were just way too thick, and yeah, it's just a huge mess. But I wanted to try, and I had all the extra resin, so that one not so great. But I'm loving the black, silver, and white. I really hope you enjoyed this experiment. I do love doing experiments on the channel. That's why a lot of them don't come out perfect. And that's just because, I like to try new things and not practice them off camera. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, subscribe, don't forget to leave a comment, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.